Hey, to whoever may need this nugget of encouragement, things will be alright, so quit your worrying. I get it, the odds can stack back against the wall, but even consider it such, know you'll stand tall. Sat and watch from the sidelines, one too many times, wicked games we play, make me wanna lose my mind. Found solitude, knowing it'll be over soon.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to SheEO Talk. This is the woman's journey, right? This is where we do interviews to discuss a woman's career path or their entrepreneur experience, right? I am your host, Jasa King. On this segment of the Just Jasa platform, that is where we have all of the amazing podcasts that I bring to you on either a Tuesday, a Wednesday, or a Saturday within a month. We will be discussing, again, the entrepreneur world, a stay-at-home mom's experience going from a career to being at home, or just a woman with an amazing story. Every Wednesday at 12 p.m. right here on all of your favorite podcast platforms, or check me out on YouTube with a full video. You can also find our past episodes on our website at audacityofwomen.com. If you enjoy these amazing women's stories, make sure you hit the subscribe button, like this video, comment your inspiration, but most importantly, turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the future interviews. Now, let's jump into this amazing SheEO talk for the week.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to SheEO Talk. This is the woman's journey. As you know, on Wednesdays, we take time to interview amazing women in a profession, right? Most of the time, it's going to be an entrepreneur just because that's my vibe. And today is going to be Keshia Martin. I'm super excited for you guys to hear her story. We're going to talk about everything she does, her business, finding purpose. We're going to jump into breaking past the how in manifesting and other amazing topics. I love the list. We're just going to jump into it. Okay. So first off, thank you so much for doing this with me, Keshia.
Oh, thank you for having me, Jasa. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, of course. So tell us a little bit about you, your background and what you do.
Okay, so I'm an energy alignment specialist. I help women get through whatever trauma or pain that they've gone through to help them be able to re-love again. Because you know, girl, how hard this can be with a relationship thing. After you've been going through something, trying to re-trust a person or not believe that all men are ain't ish, you know, so it's like helping us get past all those attachment styles so that way we can start to re-love ourselves again. So that's what I help people do.
Okay. That's going to really help with this conversation because my audience is a lot of women. That is who I talk to. And it is stay-at-home moms, it's wives, it's just people trying to figure out their lives, and mental health is key. So this is going to be crazy. So tell me about your platform, right? So the aligning with women, how did you get into that? Let's start there.
Okay, that's a wonderful question. So I actually started through experience. Like I went through my own personal heartbreak where I had, I was married, I have 3 kids, they're grown now. But when I was going through my divorce, it was really hard. And I was running my own business. I was an entrepreneur running a photography and design business. And I don't know how I was doing. I was like managing a house, managing toddlers, and then clients and everything else. And I was like, God, I just want love. And then I just started to I would receive scriptures. I would hear these scriptures, and then I would hear different things about myself because I was actually working with churches at the time, and they would say, like I'm prophetic or I'm a healer and things like that. And I just was like, I don't know what they're talking about. We're just going to keep moving. So fast forward, I asked God about what love is, and then it just set me on a whole spiritual journey where not only was I receiving scriptures, I started to receive more messages. And then it opened me up to realize how to break into unconditional love, how to break past the love that was broken inside of myself to start to heal and love again. And that's actually how I came up with the name Universal Love, because I kept hearing the name Universal Love. And when I looked it up, uni meant one, versal meant turning into, and then love. So turning one into love is how I came up with Universal Love.
I was going to say, I love your shirt. I was going to tell you, I love your shirt. That's dope. So when it comes to women, right? We're emotional.
Right.
That's just who we are. So how do you
Mhm.
navigate aligning energy after heartbreak? That is when you're at your peak emotional state. How have you been able to navigate that?
Oh my, that it was tough. I'm not gonna lie, because like learning how to find downtime, especially when you have toddlers, like sometimes you just want to lock yourself in the bathroom or get in the car, because they're just like, you're like, there's no quiet time. There's mom, as soon as you go, even just to take a shower, it's like there's no peace. And so it can be really hard trying to create that balance. And then I was running my own business with the toddlers. My kids are grown now, but it's like back then I had to find a way to create a routine and having them on a schedule, letting them know that this is going to be mom's time. But before I can give mom's time, I had to create their time and finding that balance between transitioning between work and being a mom and then back to being just myself. So I realized that when I was in that, especially, I know there's probably a lot of women out there working from home, whether they're working for a person or they're working for themselves. And it's like trying to find that inner harmony and that balance. So what I found was creating rules and boundaries where with time, where you say and saying, you know what, I want this goal, like thinking with the end in mind. I want this goal with my life, and with for me to get there, these things need to occur. Like my face needs to look great all the time, so I need to have skincare. I need to feel good, so I don't want to strangle my kids, so I need some meditation time. um I need to make money so I can buy that bag and go on that vacation, so we need work time. So like thinking of the end in mind, it allowed me to have the discipline to create that structure through my day, so that way I can actually take care of myself. Now, the challenge is when you have a heartbreak and the emotions, to answer the real heart of the question, because all that stuff sounds pretty and nice. But when you're dealing with emotions and you got hormones and you have stresses of your bills or the man or the failed relationship or the kids not doing what you tell them to do, it gets really challenging to balance your hormones and your emotions. So it's like I found diet really helps, but really I found the morning routine was one of my key things. And like we hear getting up earlier, but a lot of us think we can't get up earlier in the morning. So even you may not have to get up 4 or 5 in the morning, but what if you got up an hour earlier than what you're used to getting up? Because not everyone's a morning person. Some people are night owls. So your morning may start 10 o'clock in the morning versus the next person at 5. So 5 is a big reach because you probably fell asleep at 1 o'clock in the morning. And so because rest is important, I think the key thing is not trying to keep up with everyone else, but honoring your body and what works for you. you know so if you honor what your body and what works for you, but you see that right now the way you're doing things aren't working, then a morning routine an hour earlier than what you're doing now will help you, because now you can say, all right, let me get up an hour earlier. It's hard. The first 25 minutes, you'll probably hit snooze. Okay, give yourself grace. And then two, all right, let me try this meditation thing that Keshia's talking about. Let me take 5 minutes of not touching my phone, not scanning my emails, not checking social media. Let me just be quiet and let me just breathe. Let me just pay attention to the sounds in my room. Let me just pay attention to how I'm feeling and just be still for 5 minutes. And then right after that, perhaps reading something inspirational, where you're taking 5 to 10 minutes, just reading like a chapter or a scripture or something that motivates you. Because what this does is switches off the amygdala, which is the fear and flight sensory that's managing the back of our brain, which will have you like running in anxiety and trying to get those dopamine hits to elevate you. Because if you start with social media, then the rest of the day you're looking for a dopamine hit, and you're constantly comparing yourself to some other stress level. But if you look at something inspirational, now you're working into the prefrontal cortex, and now you're looking for solutions. You're thinking in an inner harmony and peace. So now you're blending science and the biology of how your body is actually made up. And you're telling the cells, you're telling the tissues, you're telling everything inside of you to operate this way versus the back of your brain in a very primal way. So something as simple as tweaking that will shift your day. And then journaling. I would say journaling 5 to 10 minutes, or even just to start. As you get into the hang of it, you can lengthen it. But just to start, so you're not overwhelming yourself with all these things that you have to do. And you don't have to do all of this stuff every single day. You can just start. If journaling is your thing and 5-minute meditation is your thing, then just do that. So they're like journaling. And you could just say, what am I grateful for? I'm grateful I woke up. I'm grateful that the sun is shining today. I'm grateful that it didn't rain, so that way I ain't got to go to work. Whatever you're grateful for, just writing that down. I'm grateful the kid didn't wake me up last night. Like whatever it was, just being grateful for that. And when you do that, you're like taking time to just pause, and you're setting the tone for the day, and just like saying, I'm going to set my attention that today's going to be a great and wonderful day. And you'll notice a big shift. And maybe setting an alarm on my phone. I did that too. I had like 3 alarms, one for each of my kids' birthdays, and it would ring, and then the phone would say, what are you grateful for? And I would just pause, and I would think of something I'm grateful for, and then I would go on again. Or I would pause and just rest, like just breathe, because to me, it would be my reminder to breathe. So that way I can like get out of whatever space that I'm in mentally. You know what I mean? So if it was like 2:07, that's my son's birthday, February 7th. So I would just like, okay, 2:07, the phone would chime, and I was like, okay. And I would see it, and then I would just take a couple of deep breaths. And then it just got me in the habit of slowing down, because like when we are stressed, we start to breathe more shallow. When we breathe more shallow, then we think less, because less oxygen is going into our brain. And then second, when we are breathing shallow, we're stressed, now we're sending our whole adrenal system and everything's all messed up. And now we're putting on weight, or we're putting on that stress belly. So by slowing down the breath, we can really regulate our bodies and our nervous system. So now we can think more calm, because when we're too stressed, we're also now back to the amygdala, and we're going right back into the fear. And now we're making more hasty decisions that probably is not in alignment with what you want to do. Like to get back in alignment is to get back closer to God, because we have a way of believing that God takes his own time. And I'm sure you heard this, Jasa, where they said, and the devil's busy. Yeah, all the time, right?
All the time. All the time.
Yeah, devil busy and God take his time, right? So it's like, okay. But that's actually a lie, because God operates like this.
Mm-hmm.
When we're too anxious, we're missing.
We're missing the window. You're so great. You're great.
So like when we pray and we're like praying to God, we're the one doing all the talking. Mm-hmm. And you see how I have to pull you back into the conversation. That's when we have to pull God back. All right, now let me stop asking God for what I want. Let me stop telling him what I'm grateful for. And let me just sit down and listen to him and see what he's going to tell me. And let me feel in my heart what it is best for me to do right now. And it might be to go out and go buy that shiny red dress that you saw in Nordstrom's or wherever you saw it. That makes absolutely no financial sense to go buy.
Yeah.
But you feel the sense of peace and calm that says this is the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. You go do it. Then 2 weeks later, someone offers you to come to an event, and that dress is the perfect dress for you to wear.
Yes.
You go to that event, then you meet some people, and these people introduce you to someone else that says, hey, you know what, Jasa? I know somebody else that can bring your podcast to here. And before you know, you networked a whole brand new opportunity that you may not have if you weren't wearing that red dress.
Oof, I know that's right. And it all yes, and it's crazy because alignment, I talk about it in every episode, because alignment is so important for me. And ironically, so many things have happened that have come up in this interview alone. So this morning, well, really yesterday I had wanted to make a decision that was more impulsive, because I got a blessing and I'm like, okay, this is my start to something I've been asking for and I've been waiting for. So impulse was kicking in, like, okay, no, I need to do this. I need to make sure this is in line and this isn't working. So let me just kick it off. And this morning, I just had a feeling of be still. And I was like, you know what? Let me sit down somewhere because I'm about to tarnish this entire blessing. I want it to be somewhere it's not yet. We're not there yet, and that's okay. And that's something I made a post about. I was like, you know what? In the past, I've had a hard time listening and hearing him tell me to be still. God is always telling me to sit down somewhere because that's how he made me. He knows she's going to be doing too much. So let me keep sending her a reminder. It's okay. I got you. Right. And for you to point that out, that is important. We have to remember that everything is happening for a reason. And I love how you put it. We are constantly moving. Like if I'm supposed to be here, but no, I saw something over there that was shiny that I thought would get me to my next step faster. I done missed him walking by telling me, hey, let's go here, because I'm constantly going through a different door. And I love that. That is a great way to describe it. Yeah. Oh, you understand with your connections. I love it.
Because we were like, okay. And then sometimes we might come in like all different kinds of ways. Because like we have all these little spiritual senses. So you might be, oh God, I seen this shiny object, I seen this shiny object. You gave me this blessing and you gave me that blessing. I'm gonna just go in on you. You know, I'm gonna just step into that.
Yeah, please.
So you have this new blessing and you're like, okay, I feel calm. It got here. I'm happy about the manifestation of it. So now that it's here, I think I'm gonna do this, and this. Yeah. But there's something inside you that may be saying, I'm not sure. And so, and because it's telling you, I'm not sure, you're caught between, that's when the anxiety, you're caught between a rock and a hard place where you're like, let me just trust it and go. But then there's something might be nudging you, or maybe not quite yet. So now as a human being, what do you do? You know, so it's either one can be the complete right way that'll take you from point A to point B to where you really want to go, or the other one may be a lesson where you may not go from here, point A to point B. You might go A through G through X through Y through Z, then come back before you got to B. You know what I mean? So we all go through these life choices, and knowing how to tune in is, we have to realize to slow down moment by moment. And that's one of the things that I do. Like I tap into all of my spiritual gifts, where there's times you may just have a sense, Jasa, of just knowing something. And all your girls, everybody be like, oh no, that's not it. That's not it. And you're like, yes. And then later on, they're like, she was right. And you're like
mad. Like, I tried to tell you. I wasn't trying to be mean. I just know I feel it.
Yeah, and that's like just like in one area they might say it's your sixth sense, and the other area is just like you receiving a divine guidance, letting you know what is for you and what's not, or what's truth and what's not truth. And we all have these like abilities, just like how we could walk into a room and feel the vibe. And when we feel the vibe, we're like, or like, ooh, something's here. Gotta be here. You know? So it's like knowing to slow down enough moment by moment. So like you receive a blessing, shiny object or this way, it's another moment. Ask God again. You know, it's the repetition and the consistency of reconnecting with the spirit. And then you can have it. I think what a lot of people mess it up with, Jasa, is that they think I have to wait till tonight after I put the kids to bed and sit down and pray and tell God. And then we create this formal notion, and then tired, we put our head on the pillow, maybe Sex in the City or come on, and we get lost in the sauce and we forget to pray and we go to bed, and then the next day start over. What we can do is just remind ourselves, we can have a conversation with God, like how we're talking right now. As we're talking, you can be having a prayer in your mind. You know what, God, I do need clarity on this. What am I supposed to do about this new blessing? Should it be the shiny object, or should it be that? Like learning how to communicate with our Creator on a regular basis. You know what I mean? And in the power, in the moment. And then 2, learning how to listen for the response. So those senses that we're talking about, we can feel, and God will, like if we're open to receiving and we're in a space of peace, we can hear, or it may come in various ways. Like the next song you turn on the radio may say something like, you just got to slow down, or you just got to let it go. And it may have been, you might have been thinking about one of your girlfriends who said some nonsense, and you're like, and then you'll all of a sudden let it go, come on, and you're like, okay, let me just let that. You don't have to let the person go, but you might have to let go that thought that you're having around that person, so that way you can move forward to the next phase. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe
Yes.
you have to let that person go.
Right. Yes. That is so crazy. I had, wow, I think I put that in another video too. So for the longest, I had a really hard time understanding how to listen, how to hear it, how to receive that message. And same thing, my business seems to be, I'm always talking to God about my business. But
Right.
my husband has always told me, like, relax, it's okay, or put my passion into what I want to do and not trying to find, small jobs or do something that just to fill the pot.
Right.
And I would pray to God about it all the time. And I was like, I just can't get a response. I don't know what he wants me to do.
Right.
And I'm like, well, no, he's telling you through your husband. He's been telling you forever, just, fuel your passion. And I
Right.
remember I was sitting there, we were asleep. And I was like, oh, you told me to be still. And he was like, yeah, I've been telling you for months now. And I was like, no, you told me. And he was like, I got you. And I was like, that's crazy, because our husbands are supposed to be this vessel through God. He's supposed to be our messenger. And I'm very headstrong. I'm very dominant. So I'm like, if I don't know, we don't know. But understanding that in that moment, I'm like, okay, that's it. Let me really listen and take it on and understand that it's not going to come directly from him. Sometimes I may not actually be able to hear and receive those spiritual connections. Like, dreams used to be huge for me. I have
Right.
very vivid dreams, and that's how I understand where I'm going, what I need to do. But I haven't lately. And I think it's because I'm transitioning. I'm in a different space that is allowing me to receive differently. So I think that's funny.
We're not listening.
Yeah.
Through the different ways it's coming through. So now you're
Mhm.
blocking it
Yep.
energetically. Now the dreams
Mhm.
have become less.
Yep.
Because there's
Sucks.
yeah, like balancing that masculine and feminine energy, and
Yeah.
learning how to, especially in America, learning how to be submissive to your husband and just trust.
Tell me about it, because yes. Tell me about it. I'm like, okay. I don't know. I'm a single mom child. I don't know. I don't know what this is. You want me to do what? I have to do what? But
Yeah.
it's funny, because God really has forced me into this position. Before I got pregnant, I was in my career. I was doing my own thing, and now I'm home. I am a stay-at-home mom, and I have to trust. I am forced to allow my husband to be a husband, and it has taught me my role so much. And at first I was, a little hesitant. I'm like, no, I need to push the bounds a little bit, but I'm seeing and being able to take a step back and understand, okay, no, this is my lesson, is to learn how to communicate better, how to be more vulnerable, and how to get out of that masculine mindset and just allow my husband to get the door when he says he got it, like simple
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Like, he got it. And it's very interesting how things align. Alignment is so interesting to watch play out if you just sit there and let it happen.
It's true. And then learning how, especially as single moms, it's easy, it's harder, because like the epigenetics of our DNA holds up to 6 generations of trauma, so there's certain things in our DNA that's just passed down from our parents and their lineage. So it's that trust of learning, one is learned behavior, and learning how to resubmit yourself to a man. But then even outside of you, like all women across the whole planet, we've all had this issue. Some cultures heavier than others, of course, but the understanding of how to trust in, to let go of their masculine and to be able to trust a man. So like the masculine energy is great as an entrepreneur or as a businesswoman. I don't know, for any women that are out here listening to this podcast, it's like that masculine energy is good for providing. So like when it's time to make money, when it's time to do things to, benefit our career, that needs to be on. So like if you're trying to make your sales and you're trying to figure out what to do, that's when you turn it on. And earlier I was talking about the different hats that we wear and learning how to switch gears. What's important to be able to switch gears, what I had to do, especially, coming from doing mom work as an entrepreneur to when my kids got home from school. So that way I'm not like all angry or impatient with them when I'm trying to help them with homework, I had to take like an hour or half hour break for myself to reset. So that way, when it came time to doing homework and things, I'm completely present for them. I can be very patient with them now versus, something else. So
Yeah.
and I think that's also required to switch roles from a wife, from being a mom, or from being an entrepreneur to being a wife.
Mhm.
So way you can say, "Oh, well, what's my husband trying to say? How can
Right.
I hear his voice, and then how can I communicate to him better so that way I'm receiving what he has to say, and I'm not trying to dominate him, or I'm
Mhm.
not ignoring him. More importantly, we're not accidentally emasculating him, because I think most women think emasculation is when we're in an argument, or when you're yelling, or when you're calling him a name or demeaning him. But
Mhm.
a lot of times emasculating the man can be something as simple as how we said something.
Yeah.
Um, and then he's just like, his feelings are hurt. And like, you can tell physically, like their shoulders might shrug, or he may shut down, or he may turn
Mhm.
away. And you're like, why all of a sudden his mood changed? Um,
Mhm.
yeah. So,
Oh man. Yeah, that's definitely a lesson I'm learning in this space I'm in. And I love the method you use with your children's birthday. I wanted to go back a little bit. I love
no
that.
worries.
That is so nice because I also thinking about transitions I've experienced, going from working, trying to accomplish things and having those small moments. My son, like I said, it slowed my life down. So
Mhm.
connecting the two, that is a great method to use because it reminds you this is your moment in time where you had to slow down. So take this moment in your day and slow down. And
Uh-huh.
even what you mentioned as far as having, I would say for me, it would be more anxiety trying to manage my son and try and get things done. Like I know that's me. So my husband works overnight. So for me, I have my baby all day. But
Right.
in the morning, it's like all the time. But in the morning, from like 9 o'clock to about 1 o'clock, right before my husband gets up, that's my work period. But it's also the time I have to make sure my son is good and we're doing our daily things. But understanding that I needed that routine and I needed him to know, okay, mommy has stuff to do, but after 1 o'clock, I promise I'll do my best to put everything up. After this time, I will do my best to make sure that we are focused on, him. And I've been doing better. I can't say it's,
Uh-huh.
easy because especially with those dreams in the back of your mind, you want to make sure you're putting that time and you want to see your things come to fruition. And it is hard to disconnect, but I love the implementation of routines. I love the implementation of the different methods to remind you of your gratitude, of where you've come and what you're trying to accomplish, and realigning with your purpose. That's essentially what it is. And I think with a lot of starting entrepreneurs, we get in the mindset that everything has to happen right then and there, or
Oh
you
yeah.
have to have a like tangible result every day. And that's
Mhm.
not always the case. A lot of it is going to be downfall. That could be a result, everything failing. That's a result. You did
Exactly.
something that you may need to adjust, or, you may touch one person that day, and that's still something that shows that you're doing something, you're getting to your goal. So those are my
Exactly.
little TED talk.
No, I love it. I love it. And it's a great compliment to what I was saying and I think if we just give ourselves grace and say if
Mhm.
we did 1% better than we did yesterday,
Yes.
we did good.
Yeah.
And then reminding ourselves, like I was telling my daughter today, I said, well, in America, we have to remind ourselves that we work so we can live,
Yeah. Yes.
and not live to
Mm.
work,
Mhm.
because your beautiful baby or your child will grow up so fast, and
Yeah.
before you know it, they don't want to spend time with so it's like so like finding that time to give them first is what
Mhm.
I found. Like when mine was toddlers or babies, um my day would just start a little later,
Mhm.
feed them, play with them, do the thing, and then when they're happy, now they either can take a nap or watch TV, and then I
Mhm.
can get 2 hours done and then go back and then
Yeah.
stuff like that. And then when they got older, it's like, okay, well, we're not, it's like being flexible to make iterations to your schedule. Because as they grow, there's different levels. And so like when mine got to another level, I was like, okay, now I'm going through a divorce. And now they're like 9 or 10. They need and I had 3. So I was like, okay. So I would do date nights. So each night, one of them would have they would have an evening with me, whether we take a walk or I do something that they like to do. It wouldn't be something that, like whether it's a video game, taking a walk, going to whatever it was, ice cream. I would just spend an hour. It doesn't have to be long, but it could be like an hour once a month. You just have a date night with your child and you just do what they like to do. And then it gives you a chance to communicate, see what's going on a regular basis. That way you don't feel, and then they have it now, they're like, they get kind of programmed and conditioned to, okay, well, I know I'm going to see mom on this time. And then they start to back down, and then they'll give you your time because they know they've gotten your time already. So that's my little 2 cents as a mom.
Yes, and no, I definitely.
I love I wanted to compliment you also because I love how you're going after it already, that you have this baby and your emails and your punctuality, your communication and your smile, everything's just like all on point, y'all. So I don't know how many of y'all are watching this chick, but you need to keep an eye on her because I'm like, wow. And then to see how young and beautiful you are.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah, come back. I love it. No, I definitely appreciate that. Every guest I have, I'm like, I know I emailed you like 16 times. I'm like, I just want to make sure you got it. I just want to make sure you know I'm serious. Like, let's do this. Here's the talking points again. I love it.
You are amazing. I said, you are not trying. You are doing it. Give yourself grace. I think you should add at the end of your night. I know I talked about a morning routine, but if you had a nighttime routine, I have an alarm on my phone now. It's like 9:15. What are you grateful for? I think you need to think of like a win journal and think about the 3 things that, even if it was, you know what, I saved him from, I got him on the potty today.
Something. That's a win. Yes. Yes, it is. He didn't fall and hit his head. Look, I'm trying to tell you something. I love it. I do. Oh my gosh. I think that those are absolutely amazing. I have like a list. I'm a list girl. I just can't help it. But I have a list of things that I need to try, and journaling is always on there. It's at the top because I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do this. I love journals, but I can't commit to the routine. It is so hard to commit to it. But man, we're gonna try. I'm gonna just keep trying until I get it together.
As much as I journal, and I got a ton of journals, I could tell you now, there's times I was like last year, I did not journal every day. I journaled when I was inspired to journal. Me too. And when I first started journaling, I remember the first time I started journaling, I was going through my divorce. I was like the worst. And then I went back and read it. I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
I can't do that. And then I put it away for like a year. And then I was like, I think I should go back. And I went back and I have so many journals now. But I say, even if you can't do it every day, I think that's the biggest thing, because it's the consistency of us putting self-love in, so maybe for somebody's watching, maybe you're going through a hard spot right now. Maybe you are dealing with a divorce, and maybe you're dealing with a really bad breakup and you can't even get out of bed. Or you lost the job, or you quit the job because you were so burnt out and you were over it. Just know that you're enough, and everything that you've done to do everything has led you to this point, even just to find this video, to find Jasa, to listen to myself or anybody else, any of her other guests, just to know that you're enough and you are exactly where you need to be, and trust the process. And that if you can do 1% different today than you did yesterday, whether you just after this video or while you're listening to the video, just say, you know what, let me just accept the wrongs. Let me let go of who's hurt me. And let me just trust the process. I'm going to get out of this bed today. I'm going to try to brush my teeth. Maybe I'll take a shower, put on some new clothes and get out of my pajamas. And I know I had a goal. My business didn't fail, whatever it was that you were trying to do, and just say, you know what, I have a moment right now. Let me see. And sometimes shaking your body, whether you twerk, put on some music, dance, you got to go outside, take a walk. Nature will bring just changing the vibe of your room, moving somewhere else, opening up the windows. You might say, Keshia, I do not touch my blinds. I think everything dark. But when you open things up and you shift the energy of your place, you shift. And it impacts you to actually start to do something different. You might drop right back in the bed 2 hours later, but you did it that 1 hour.
That's all that matters. I can write it in my journal. I did it. What's my goal?
So you got 1 day down,
Yes.
and then you try to do the next day.
Look, nobody else's business. Just know I did my part.
Nobody gotta know.
I love it. Thank you. I know I told you I'm not gonna keep you all day because I know how this can go. But
I understand.
I want to, while you're here, I do want to invite you. So something that my platform, Audacity of Women, is doing is we're creating groups for basically a space that we can expand upon these topics, right? So I have 3. I'm going to send you an invitation because I would love to have you on there as someone that can be a representative of energy shifting. Okay. I think that you would be absolutely perfect for it. So I'm gonna put you on the spot. Do you think that's something you would be interested in?
I can do that. Is it on Facebook or?
I will send you more because honestly, just the love aspect of trying to get your energy back and making sure you feel confident in your purpose is being fulfilled is a task in itself. So having energy shifting focus, I think would be amazing. I would love to have you on there.
I would be grateful, definitely.
So I appreciate you, Keshia. So before you go, please tell us how we can get in touch with you. I know you have your website. I have it on here, but please share us everything that we can get in.
So you can find me on my website. It's Keshia Martin. It's spelled like Keshia. It's like my alter ego, Keshia. It's Keshia, and my last name is Martin. And I'm also on all social platforms as the same, with Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, all the whole 9. So yeah. So I speak about relationships, communication, and spirituality, and I do energy work as a part of that with coaching to help women and men. I've helped plenty of men as well. Through navigating what type of things they may be dealing with. So I deal with like life issues as well as what I see, and helping them activate into their spiritual well-being. Yes.
I love that. This was Keshia Martin. She is the Universal Love founder. Okay. So I will make sure everything on our website, you guys know how I do, under our podcast segment for SheEO Talk, everything, all of her links are going to be there. So make sure you go check her out. I appreciate you, Keshia.
I appreciate you. Once you send it to me, I'll share it on my platform as well. So
definitely. I love it. Thank you. All right, y'all. That's it. This was our segment. Every Wednesday, SheEO Talks. We have an amazing month coming ahead. So make sure you tune in. Like I said, everything for all of our SheEOs coming in this month are going to be on our website. I am Jasa. This is SheEO Talk. Y'all almost said the other segment. This is SheEO Talk. So make sure you come back every Wednesday. Bye, guys.
All right, guys, that was our episode. Thank you so much for listening to this amazing interview from another SheEO. Here at SheEO Talk, The Women's Journey, we like to make sure that we are catering to our audience. So if you are interested in being a SheEO or you want to just be a guest on the Just Jasa platform, please make sure you visit our website, audacityofwomen.com, and go under the podcast section. On that same section, you're going to find the sign-up links. Go ahead and sign up with us to be a guest on any of the Just Jasa platforms, okay? That could be SheEO Talk, that could be Just Jasa Saturdays, or our new segment, which is Awareness and Heritage Panels. And lastly, our biggest one, which will be coming now in May, Contrary to the Culture. So make sure you go ahead and sign up. I would love to have some new guests. But before you go, thank you so much again for watching or listening, depending on your platform. Make sure you like, share, comment, but of course, subscribe to all of our channels on our platforms, as well as turn on your notifications so you don't miss any future interviews. Thank you so much. I'm your host, Jasa King. Until next time.
Hey, to whoever may need this nugget of encouragement, things will be alright, so quit your worrying. I get it, the odds seem stacked back against the wall, but even consider it such, no, you'll stand tall. Sit and watch from the sidelines, one too many times, wicked games we play, make me wanna lose my mind. Found solitude knowing it'll be over soon.